They fully expect people to love this thing. They fully expect to keep going with it. And we talked a little bit about what exactly features of the game have been abandoned in Final Fantasy XIV. And some people...
What's been abandoned? There's some things that feel like they could get updates, like grand companies, like...
And we're back. In this episode, I'm going to be doing the unthinkable. I'm going to be changing my grand company.
What exactly is a grand company, and why am I talking about them? The grand companies are primarily a military-based organization within each of the starting city-states: Gridania, Limsa, and Ul'dah.
Once you choose your grand company, and you will likely see a blue unlock quest nearby called My Little Chocobo. You need to pick that quest up. Why? It's your mount.
Like free companies.
Welcome to Zepla HQ, where Eorzea comes to you. Today, we are going to talk about founding a free company. Why do you want to start an FC? If you haven't had success in the past with other FCs, what went wrong? You see, an FC is like a gubu. It begins life as a tiny sproutling, but with care and attention, it will blossom into a giant, riddled with strange bioorganisms.
How helpful this is going to be. But I wanted to maybe validate some of the concerns that some of you have had when I gave my standard advice over the years. Because I mean, I always had an FC, but I tried to run the channel FC for a while. It ended up being just too unwieldy. I don't have time to run one. For people that are like, well, why don't you just make your own FC? I tried that. It was very bad. I'm not a good FC leader. I don't have time to deal with it. Being an FC leader takes a tremendous amount of time and effort if you want it to be good. And I would prefer to just, join and be just another run, right? So, lots to think about. Previously, like for the past year, I had pretty much just been sitting in a dead FC. That's what I've been doing for the past year. So that's where I am, and I just want to say, people looking for FCs, I feel you. Searching for the right one is hard enough, as we've been over. The game itself makes this so much harder than it needs to be because of the lack of really good tools to use in game to either advertise your FC or search for an FC. Going through all this, I just start to ask myself, like, do I need an FC at all? Like, I'm convincing myself, the longer this process goes on, the more I'm convincing myself, I don't think I do. Like, maybe I don't. Okay, I guess what it really all comes down to is I want those speed boosts in the city. I want the speed boost in the city. That's it. I mean, I want to be a little bit faster going from the Aetheryte to the Market Board. Like the 5 steps I have to take, maybe I could take 3 steps instead. Like fellowships. Fellowships is definitely a completely abandoned feature.
Hello and welcome back to another video for 5.1 with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. And in this video we're going to be talking about fellowships. So, I don't know, what's your guess?
Squadron, but I think Squadron is going to get sort of like out to pasture, aren't they? Don't they want to not update Squadron anymore because they have duty support now?
Squadrons are an interesting feature in the grand scheme of Final Fantasy XIV. They're a precursor to the advanced AI and flavor of trusts, but also just end up kind of being forgotten due to just how shoved off to the side they are.
We should take
Squadrons
and push it somewhere else!
Yet they're some of the most useful optional features you could hope to have, especially if you're a solo player without a free company.
Company airships leaves transition into being for crafting. Like crafting leaves are still like super useful. Okay.
Personally, I have a lot of faith that when Square Enix introduces something new, certainly in the modern era, it's not for a single expansion. It's for all time. They're looking to make sure it's evergreen, which is a big focus of Final Fantasy XIV, is to make sure, okay, we're introducing this thing.
Like, what did we talk about earlier? We talked about Deep Dungeon and people that spend, even now, spend all day, every day in Palace of the Dead which it came out in Heaven's Ward. I personally spent a ton of my free time in Palace of the Dead, which is old content, but it is evergreen content. There's people that spend all the time in Eureka, which is released in Stormblood, but people spend a ton of time in there. Or in Baja, that was like they will add something as an expansion feature, but they'll add it in such a way that it doesn't become obsolete. Like, it is something that you can usually go back and keep doing.